good evening. Enrich Your Family series. Abusuamu nkomodie no na ya hyase anwumre. Your guest speaker and now near bidding komono senior last week. Ebi ho komono. And you be say Yemia Evans Amoako. Evans, good evening.
Good evening.
At the same.
Nyamiadum boko na mpacho. I hope so be as on ye dear.
Nyadum be a hoye pa. And then so you say enrich your family. Jumadi wama ho kwan na Komodi only did last week, to me, no, addition very, very important. And then so you have twaso, it kwaba. Just to recap, we had last week, we said, oh, no, and now me take you me tea. Na intin versa. If you know, been the first time, or bus or me say last week now. Some year I to be last week. Oh, yeah, I thought, say, it is very, very profound, it's basic, simple, and yet very, very deep. Who see dying? Or subject now say the financial house. And I'm a boy. Yes. And a financial house, no, foundation. Now, foundation, no, can say foundation, no, to need protection. Say, when you will share usika abraboasia, you need something that will help you, and that is you lay a foundation in a financial life. In a foundation, no. You talked about emergency fund. You talked about estate planning and as a will. You talked about health insurance. You talked about life insurance. And I feel okasafa disability insurance. And it's anyama. We see another foundational ideas and I say things you need to do. And I'm a boy.
Me pacho sa pepe.
You also for me pass on so okay. And on top of the next level, I say accumulation. Once you've laid the foundation, then you need to think about accumulation. Now I can't say college, and I can't housing, and I can't retirement. These are the areas that we focus on. You sure say big kahon, but you say basic ones. Until you can focus on the college fund, and now one kasasono. You think about purchasing a house, saving for house, purchasing a house. And then you at the same time, the moment you start working and you lay your foundation, you look at retirement. My quotation do I will say. I mean, he's making me akaya. It's a no, the matras make you me can home for to cry. What's it? What's it? We can take loans for school, but we cannot take loans for retirement. So make retirement savings a priority while saving for others. I think say and then we'll see down from accumulation, no, can say preservation. Into preservation, no, and our can be say we talked about risk assessment. And Yama who will be more and as a way here. Say, could di a kabimu, a manibimu. And you talked about required minimum distributions. And you talked about guaranteed lifetime income. Bribia say when you go on retirement, a beboao amausika, a best sustainable. Minim sama pass was last week.
That's very accurate.
Okay. And yeah, that's a part. I'm umpire enough in India Mound. Already. There was saying then so I may acquaint you na Evans Amoako every day and aboying teach you families. You see Casamoa, tell be a busuamu. I am to quack a sea and I or home. To me, cry go away. Why an Iranian was my sister in our pen. Fanasu Casa train. Jesus Christ, demon yes, amen.
Amen.
You see, they made your mama.
All right. And then I'm share my screen with you again. I'm sure me bow. Nah. All right. show my screen.
Aye.
Very good. Very good. Abusiafo. Mesan Adamasi bebree sɛ ɛnɛ nso ɛnyɛ ɔpɛ ne yɛn nyinaa yɛabɛhyia mu ha sɛ yɛbɛsua adeɛ. Na yɛdi kan sɛ yɛde aseda ma Nyame sɛnea pastor ɔdi kan abɔ mpaeɛ no sɛ na ɔtwe mu nyinaa nneɛma bebree si, but sɛ Nyame ayɛ adom na sɛ yɛda so te aseɛ deɛ sɛ yɛde aseda ma no. Your financial house I share last week, and no any bit was this week, Medin the Evans Amoako. Me a financial consultant, financial product consultant. Right. I think the last week we went through introduction, so and I did here. And before we start everything, mepese inyina be aware of this. One thing that is very, very important to me. When we doing the presentations like this, it involves a lot, and we need to, make sure that we're doing everything accurately. Okay. All right. So, say my screen as well. What I have there now. So disclaimer. Please understand, I am not giving you financial advice and not speaking to a specific person. I and any thereof may not provide legal or tax advice to you. Material used in this presentation is for educational purposes only. Individuals should always seek and rely on their own independent tax professionals or financial advisors. These are general informations and are deemed as. I'm saying, I am an advisor, I am a consultant, but I don't know you to give you advice specifically. I'm not saying say I don't know you, say I don't know you, but I haven't sat with you and we haven't discussed anything. So for that reason, I cannot specifically give you advice. So everything else, and I say as general information and share, and it's for education purposes only. I don't know. I am not going to give recommendations to individuals here as well. You may take that as I don't deal with individual, clients. I work for an institution, financial institution, as a consultant. So I am not here seeking for business or anything as such. No. It's for educational purposes. So we'll be abreast with, time and what is there out there. Bit me. I take it. That is why I'm here today. Good. I love the fact that Pastor actually went through the summary of what we studied last week. Last week, we talked about complete financial house. I wasn't going to start it without, bringing last week, presentation, at least, the summary of last week presentation. And I love the fact that Pastor actually even had it and he explained it. I think the better way, more than I can even do it. So thank you, Pastor, for that. But what did we talk about last week? We talked about financial house, and we talked about when we started our financial house, what that house entails, what makes up this the house. Meditoto say yankasa yesi and personal house, and I see if ye either say Krumha and I say Ghana. And I also made mention about how or how tall or how short or how strong you want your house to be, you want to make sure say your foundation go according to that particular structure that you put up. The same way, I translate and I say make at the buy finances and I can say the foundation that we looked at when we building our personal house is also in finances, is also considered as protection. So that is the foundation. Before you will put up a building, you want to make sure that you have a strong foundation to make sure that everything else that it will come on top of it would stand. So I talked about that. So the protection, what does that entails? And that's what makes up the protection. I made mention about emergency fund, your will, your health insurance, your life insurance, replacement of income, which is also termed as disability insurance. Excuse me. Thank you. Yeah. So I made mention about protection, and I talked about emergency fund, will, health insurance, life insurance, disability insurance, and many more. I just did not mention as many as is out there, but I just kept it precise and nice and very important ones. So when you're building your house or your financial house, you want to make sure say you have these protection or foundation built strong. It should be strong in order to put anything that you want to put on it. It's a free protection. I also made mention about accumulation. Now we're done with the protection and also the foundation. And what else? I feel see Diana. So I talk about how can we build this house, and we looked at tax now. Send a bit me categorize your seeker in different way. Near diversify your seeker yam physical in kugu buckets back humana send a beya eco na is getting in our train. So I talk about tax now, tax deferred, tax free account. What is even the purpose of accumulation? Why do people mostly accumulate? And as they you see Sikabi. Maybe now they call your wedding. If Pierre could be there what they call who sees for my college. And a bit means about who sees Cassan and the better dying. Bit me about who sees Cassan and Bay or Dutch or retirement, independent of people, and I said the government. That is why a lot of people accumulate. So after that, I also made mention about preservation. That's considered as the roofing. Now I see that every they say it's all boss complete. So that is also termed as a preservation. And preservation, what does that entails? What makes up the preservation? That time, 60, 65, 70 years, how do you, get guarantee income be a bit more sustain you saying, maybe more than 90, 100 years? Will you be 90 and still getting income? Or will you be 90 and be stranded? See? So we talked about that. And also we talked about risk assessment. And yes, I time I made 71 on I made Misike Gugu's aggressive portfolio and I say aggressive stocks. It will not help you because probably at that time, maybe I have to reduce my risk. You have to do risk assessment and also, talk to your advisor about required minimum distribution, how much you're supposed to take out if you have an individual retirement account, because you will be mandated to take required minimum distribution. If you don't, you will be taxed, significantly. So, and also make aside. So this is what we actually talked about last week. So today, and then what are we going to look at today? We're going to look at strategies and ideas that will address our needs and make sense for our savings and also may help us survive in the financial times. What else? look at how we can calculate our saving rate ratio, debt to income ratio, housing ratio, in order to qualify for lower interest payment in next purchases. Then I make kind of a happy breeze. But see, you can and you might be a bit me a boy and ewo yen yankasa ye savings mu. No pa ho. And pay yen wala is one a bepe or be or didn't say be a person koto dan and as a person koto new car. Koto dan now koto new car and as a huge purchases. Now quite ben so crowd it me fire cause what qualify for this rate. Qualify for this rate. And I say, oh yeah, a dan cry a bit me the amount. Okay, yeah, you would see you qualify for $700,000 and $500,000 and $250,000. What is the stuff behind that? I just want us to go into a little detail on that, because it's very, very important, especially if we have young people on the line. Not only young people, I know that we will be in our 50s and we will be buying our first home or something like that. So how does those things plays out? What's the behind the scenes stuff they usually do? And then we'll be looking at that. And maybe I'm fine chemi. You better math kakra. You better math kakra, but it's not gonna be too deep math. I think I love math, when I was in high school. When I went to college, I was a math major as well. I even taught math a little bit in this country in high school. Yeah, and we're not going to go through, deep math, but it's just a simple math. Calculating for your personal saving and ratios, housing ratios, and a bit to me, and say, oh, okay. I think that with the may qualify for lower interest. So that is what we're going to do today. Let me take you back a little bit, because we're going to talk about savings, and I say saving for the future, and I say even a retirement income source. Then I'm talking about 40 years, 30 years, 50 years ago. Retirement income source was like this. What we're seeing on the screen. We had Social Security that was coming in. We had pension. I am talking about pension. He who don't know pension, yes, sir. I worked with X, Y, and Z company. I did not contribute anything in it. Nothing. I did not contribute anything in it. But because I work with X, Y, and Z company, X, Y, and Z company is going to give me $5,000 every month for the rest of my life when I retire from the company. That is pension. Pension, we also term that as a defined benefit. Now, what we have now is defined contribution. We have a lot of defined contribution. We will talk about that. So I'm talking about pension. We had, a good pension. So it was really, really great for people, because you might be bringing on my pension. But what actually happened, I say, at some point, any much in year, any mass then retirees count on the Social Security, and the companies, as I said, they gave pension. Individuals not here personal savings. So over here I say savings in this was saying your retirement income, which is Social Security and pension. Yeah, even what I say. That was how it was then. Now, so say, how many people in the world in Israel they get pension from work? Very few people, maybe one or two. If you're not a teacher, if you're not working with, some, governmental, companies and agencies, you may not get pension, So Social Security is still there. We still have Social Security, but the thing is that it cannot cover most of retirees, primary expenses. You retire, and average Social Security is around $1,400, $1,500. So think about it. if average social security is around 1,500, 1,400, would that be able to cover my needs the time that I hit 65 and as I hit 70? Maybe that time could be or your mortgage in you're still paying it. So it's really a difficult and dicey situation that we may want to take a look at. Fewer companies are giving defined benefits now. Very few companies in a defined benefit. Now what we have now a defined contribution. Defined contribution, they say in your moment and say, hey, I have a 401k now. Also, yes, you're matching now what contribution maybe a DBA account. That is defined contribution. That is what we have now. A lot of companies have shifted to that angle. It used to be defined benefit, whereby you do not put anything in it. But now, that is not what we have in now. So then what? You may rely on what? Your personal savings. You may rely on your personal savings because now, you see, woman, and we do have social security, which is not going to be able to cover, your needs. Pension is shrinking, because a lot of companies are not giving a pension. So if you don't have this, and this is not enough, then what? Are you going to work when you're 70 years? You see, so you need to we are relying on this now. And what do we do? And nothing I'm saying, we need to know our saving ratio. How do we even save? What kind of saving ratio? And how do I even know, say, I am hitting my target and as I'm hitting my goals? And I say I will get to where I want to be when I am 65 and now when I am 40 and I say when I am 30 and maybe or when I'm 25 and maybe I'm going to potentially maybe marry or something like that and I want to buy my first home. I need to know my saving ratio. It's very, very important. But I am and then little math and yet but question be answer, we should be able to address it. So what is our saving ratio? Saving ratio is your savings plus employer match, excuse me, all over your gross pay. That is your saving ratio. My savings are my saving. My employer Emma me sikanibi. Say me kabum na say me divided by my gross pay a media. And a year with savings ratio. Okay, Evans, then a bay who the bay mama who say be a misewu na I'm doing the right thing. It actually depends on individual goals and your needs. A be a name, a person may retire me $2,000 and $1,000. And I mean the social security be mammy, a be at $1,200. Into what? How much more do I need? I need just $800 in addition to it, and I'll be fine. That is not the same story about you. You want to potentially maybe get maybe $10,000 Social Security. I'm saying maybe 2,000, and I say 1,500. Then how much is left? You have about 8,500 left. So then, how do you get that? So then it's very, very important to know all these numbers because it's important. Sometimes we don't really care about it because, it's not my job to know about my saving ratio. Advisors will always, recommend saying at least we should be saving around 10% to 13%. At least one year be your employer match plus your savings, over your gross pay, at least it should be around, you should get 10%. Your 10% of your income should be saved, and that's at least 13% to 13% should be saved. See, that is a good number that we need to, take a look at. The second thing that I talked about, and I say, maybe are we thinking about buying a house? house in the crown, will I even qualify? Once I would one hour who say, am I going to even qualify? You can calculate if you will qualify or not. So how do you do that? And I'm just giving you the behind the scene, stuff a little bit today. How do we do that? If we be housing ratio 1, housing ratio 2, 28, 36, rules. Housing ratio 1, what it does, and they say, and on that say, oh, okay, Penny Evans, say house 500,000, I would do any other Uber qualify for that 500,000 house. No, how do we know that? It's your housing cost over your gross income. Your housing cost over your gross income. Housing cost, we term that as the mortgage, the interest, the taxes on it, all divided by your gross income. Say if it is up to 28%, then you are in good shape, very good shape. So that means that house, will be qualified. They be qualified more that house, and I say you get, yes, you get that house. Number 2, your housing ratio 2. Housing ratio 2, what does that mean? That is showing see the house would you be able to keep up with the payment that involved with the house? And to know how do they calculate that? They how they do that, and they say they take your housing cost, which is the first one, plus other costs via your credit card, your subsidized loans via. In addition, now you're divided by your gross pay. You should stay up to 36, percent. If you within that range, you are in very good shape. That's what I say. And that is how you calculated that. And so, you be scenarios kakra. Na sani American be bribia. Aye yasumu wenye bia yatiasie kakra. And na yenche be brain. And you be scenarios kakra. Saving ratio, yen starting free your saving ratio no. Sani midi kan no. Mema example midi kan say saving ratio is your savings plus employer match all over your gross pay. Savings plus employer match all over your gross pay. That is the saving ratio. And I make sign can say at least your YSC is save at least 10 to 13%. At least that is something that we should be doing. But it depends on individual goals and your needs and other stuff. And that means it tends to be say your savings, you then you have to, probably you're behind, you have to catch up. That's why even what catch up provisions, IRAs, any idea ultimately extra money the minimum the maximum is which is 6,000, you can bring 1,000 or more. That is not what we're talking about today, but we're talking about how you been who say, oh, okay, I think I'll reach my goal if I'm able to do this. It's just simple scenario, but I'm saying Ama's annual salary is $80,000. She contributes 10% of her salary to her 401k plan, and her employer contributes 5% match of Ama's salary to profit sharing plan. Ama also contribute $2,500 per year to individual retirement account, which is IRA. And I'm saying last week, what is Ama's saving rate? And that's a saving ratio. So send them say your saving ratio is what your savings plus employer match all over your gross pay. It is good to know this. Inti ama contribute to 10%. I want 401k. 10% near $8,000. $8,000. And an employer contribute to 5% match. Or the 8,000 to an employer and the 5% that kind of 4,000 and then 4,000. And now my sign contribute to 2,500 to individual retirement account. Inti so combine we me and ama contribution they call 401k and then an employer and they can and then your son they call IRA more divided by 80,000, which is ama annual salary now, it will give ama 18.125%. If you say I can say at least you should do 10% and that's 13%. No? Hey, ama is doing 18%. You see, so ama stands the chance of, possible not really going to stand at Walmart to do greetings, because she will have something in her account in the future that will, help her in that future. And as I said, my quote, you see it again, internet, don't worry about it. You see the quote again, this is how we calculate our savings, and it's very simple match. My employer mom is saying, oh, my employer mom is 4%. You need to know. If you don't know, I ask your employer, say, hey, do you match? And ask something like that. And add years, make sure that at least you're not below 10%. It will help you. It's going to help you. All right. Let me just move forward. Now we know how to calculate our saving ratio. Now, Yembra say, oh, I want to go and buy maybe probably this nice house, which is $500,000. In order not to go near check your credit, near say I won't qualify any other. And why don't I do my little math maybe home before I go? Because check your credit, and then I drop a credit score. You probably don't want that. So then what can I do behind the scene? And I say, before crying son Amoako bank and I say be Amoako pesa loan to finance, and I say to see say I will qualify for that house. Until that's housing ratio 1. We're going to calculate the housing ratio 1. Housing ratio 1 is scenario. And I'm a dear to one. Kojo and Ama have gross income of $70,000. Monthly housing cost of $1,500, and monthly debt payment of $1,840.33, excluding monthly housing cost. Into monthly debt payment, and can housing cost the housing cost on $1,500. Calculate Kojo and Ama's housing ratio. Into send me who are the nice Kojo ni Ama no more person more $500,000. Into say no more total income is $70,000. And now housing cost no $1,500. And now other debt more $1,840.33. Into Kojonia Mabit qualify for this loan. Make sure say your housing ratio 1 and to see say if we will qualify for that. But you can say housing ratio 1, how we calculate that, and it's your housing cost all over your gross pay, and it should be at least 28%. Should not go above 28%. Evans, if it goes above 28%, what will happen? It doesn't mean say you be down, but maybe probably it will be harder. Maybe you'll be and China be no binya idea. You go say so they have a beer. We are be actually, and I say bisa because they did stuff behind the scene, and I said you don't even qualify for the simple term. They will just tell you say you don't even qualify. But if it's above and it's above a little bit, you will be qualified. And to see a cut, yes, I'm at the way I hear. Housing cost over your gross pay equal, and it should be equal to 28%. Into your housing cost near $1,500. That is side house no more, the mortgage plus interest plus other stuff on account $1,500 divided by the gross income, which is 70,000. We may get a monthly. Into no say monthly into me divide when is when annual gross income. Into me divide so by 12. So 1,500 all over this gives you 25.7. And I can't say as I say then as I say at least 28 and that's below. So meaning say if they calculated and we not 500,000 house in one bank and America say yes, we will give it to you most more pre-approval. And to pre-approval to me and tell me to go and so it's not gonna work. These are some of the stuff behind the scene that they do. And I just feel like say I want to share with you today, Senya. But yeah, we also, know one or two stuff when we're dealing with stuff like this. Housing ratio 2. Okay, I put a little note. It said what it helps determine how much you qualify for. Okay, yes, and the medical so I say a boy me who say will qualify and I say won't qualify and I say how much you qualify for. Okay, let's move to the next scenario. Next scenario no say na house we crown put the ma Kojoniama, would they be able to keep up with the payment? They look at all those stuff. So car, they look at all those stuff. Brand new car and see and send good interest. And yeah, then they look at all those stuff. And now we are going to look at say, would it be even okay? And if we give it to them, would they be able to keep up with the payment? That is the housing ratio 2. So I'm saying I got too fast. All right. So the same scenario now the first scenario 1 same thing. Kojo and Ama have gross income of 70,000, monthly housing cost of 1,500, monthly debt payment of 1840.33, excluding monthly housing cost. Calculate Kojo and Ama's housing ratio 2. Now we calculating housing ratio 2, 36%, which is the back end. So MD we never just say, oh, okay, I did grandpa made the mom bit to me and may obligation and to be as okay. So how do we calculate that? Housing ratio 2 is your housing cost plus other costs all over your gross pay. Into your housing cost and plus other costs all over your gross pay. Into these stuff, it might look a little complicated, but it's not at all. I am so down and making sure that we all get this. And if you even want to go purchase a car or something like that, you can use the same thing by using your monthly debt. They will use this all over your gross pay instead of house. We say we use your house and you use 1,500. So we got a car, for instance. Now there, if you have use the total housing ratio 2 when the year or car. Mostly, this calculation is very important, very very important. Most of the stuff that we get out there, and this is how they determine say you will be able to keep up with the payment or not. They want you to stay under this 36%. So how do we calculate that? Your housing cost plus other cost. Into your housing cost, yet mortgage, interest, taxes and other stuff on 1,500 plus your other cost. Loans, what you did, and then you can in Abumo and see 1840. Into this divided by this number. Am I in 57.26%? Said it was making 70,000. So you see here, 36%. But look at where they are. They are in little danger. They probably just said, "If you loan it's really low. It's really low. Some loan interest rate is very high. Why? Because they're not really sure. I mean, they will be able to, and it's very, very funny. That is how it is built. And it's very, very funny. And, Say those who will qualify and will get a lower rate, and we are a higher rate. That is how it is. It's just funny. And as I said, these are some of the behind the scenes stuff. It happens. So we see, as an advice, as a obana be a minawat as an idea, be a kasa. I will say, maybe we need to keep this down, your debt down a little bit. Hey, wait me at 6 months to be, and you bet me at tria. So loan we everywhere. It's a loan be free when it be at 800 a free, so that's 1,000 crown of Rebecca when one and mine this percentage way. And Sunny be a move forward, say, got top property way. And I say, take a look at maybe getting additional car and I say something like that. So all these are stuff that we put together to give you advice. It's very, very important. One thing that we should note, the lower your ratio, the higher the probability of getting a good rate. I already mentioned that in your next purchase. And also credit score would also be taken into consideration. So it's not just this. Your credit score will also be taken into consideration, and as well as your income. A high net worth, earner, will be able to qualify and go because he's making 300,000 and also the credit score 750, 800. So hey, and then not by high though. It's just a matter of just giving him just a little higher rate. And giving the loan to him, it doesn't mean that yes, and so no, it be a bit denial cry. They base on your credit score as well. They will take that into consideration, and also your income that is coming in will also be taken into consideration. And not because I mentioned about credit score was here, and I'm fine, and Thomas, and nay, and I will end here. But I was like, no, I can't end here just like that. Then I have to, show you some few ways. A bit to me, a bit me a boost your credit score. Now say, impose say, higher, ratios never higher. Not because of a credit score. No, mommy, take your mama in consideration. Now, me, I might approve loans. Now, I donate me and move forward in our next purchase. The most popular method of determining credit score is Fair Isaac Credit Organization. I can say FICO score. So what is a FICO score? Those are your lenders were out there and they look at what are some of the ways a bit to me I take it and I see a bit in best ways a bit to me I practice a bit to me a boy and it me a boost your credit score app. Number one, pay all your bills on time. Please, pay all your bills on time. Men trying to do 20th more na wakutia bill na date is year 20. Meanwhile, so that 20 and so now a Saturday, not a working day. Once and a fee, I could credit to 22nd. Now why a late payment? No. If possible, maybe pay it on the 19th or on the 18th to be safe. Yes, don't wait until, I know that sometimes things becomes very hard, but we should try as much as possible. As far as we have that obligation, we need to, we made that a promise that we will pay. That's why we used it. So then we have to, abide by the promises that we made. Okay. Number 2, what are the next 10? That's very important. Keep outstanding balances low on a revolving credit account. Below 30% is recommended. If you always, keep your outstanding balance low, it boosts your credit score. It's very, very important. My credit line $1,000. Now say my use all the $1,000. Assuming let's say this month now I wanted to use that all the $1,000. My use $1,000 now. What is Evans recommending to you me today? what I'm recommending is at least pay $701. Make sure say you below 30%. That is my recommendation. If you do that and you pay, and you're down below 30%, you stand the chance of getting a better score and a good score. It boosts your credit score. Don't be like, oh, me use 2,000, normally me bill, I bring me bill, no, I'm saying me $56. In month, $56 no much. You're not really doing yourself good. Why? Not only your credit score will drop, you're not going to gain anything. You're paying more interest. That is what you're just doing. The principal now will be just like, minute. It should not be significant. So what I am advising is at least, as I said, my recommendation is below 30%. You should stay below 30%. It's very, very important. Number 3, avoid negative remarks on your report. How do we do that? Maybe I'll call doctor Dr. Nokoye be a surgery be an answer who call manager went to Yanaka. I report you to collection agencies. Be a phone bill be na me balance you may think say they can report you and it will be on your records. And those records stays on your credit report for a very long time. So for that reason, you should avoid negative remarks on your credit score. Please, these 3 things. These 3 things that all left here is very, very, very important. Take it very serious. It has significant impact on our credit score. These 3 things, if you can do these 3 things very well, and trust me, you will probably someday maybe call and say, I know that most of you, of course, not even all of you are, most of you are doing a great job and getting it looks good. Say over here credit score now 800 plus. Yeah, excellent. I mean, it makes you smile. When you say, hey, I choose a pass, maybe me need to go me bottom crowd. At the end of the day, if I go out there and I want whatever car, I can get it. Or maybe whatever you can, that's the feeling that you should get. You see? So that's why I am bringing this here. Number 4, don't close old unused credit cards. Age of credit history is important. It's very important. Yeah, sometimes we say, oh, hey, credit card we missed that year, and I mean the credit card I'm $300 a credit line and I'm oh, man, pay my close to no. It's not just going to help you. It's best to keep it open because your credit history, age of your credit history. You see, say, oh, okay, I penny and I say, mommy, longer credit history. Anything 7 years and up, it's like excellent, and I said perfect. It's great. Anything 7 years, below 7 years and 5 years, you are in the mid. You're getting matured. Anything below 3 years, I think 7, 4, or something like that, if I'm not really mistaken. Anything below 3, you really green, and I mean, you get there. You get there. Anything I just say, don't close, the old, credit cards. No, keep it open. Once a while, build the hour that $25 a year. That's what the African stock or top. If you know what you had to mandate, what you have to see, that will keep you that open, that card open to make sure that the age of your credit history is a matured credit like that. That's how I would put it. All right, number 5. Be aware of what type of debt on your report. It's very, very important. That is why I will recommend, say, if you don't check your credit score now, try once a while, try and check your credit score. Most banks helps you to get your credit score maybe monthly. Most of the banks, if you don't know about that, because you may be sitting down because you don't know what's on your credit. Someone might be using your credit to, applying loans and other stuff. You don't want that on your credit score. So for that reason, you have to make sure that you know exactly what's on your credit score. I know what's on my credit score. I know what I have and what I don't have, what I'm doing, because I monitor that. So you have to make sure that you're doing that in order not to, just be a scapegoat. No, be a issue. Will credit at the and you might be a beer. And you know, and so I didn't know about them. So what will you do? See, so be aware of that. Number 6, which is the last point that I have here, take on new credit obligations only when really needed. Ubonsu no akobisa wakoje a Macy's credit card. No wakoje what other Victoria's Secret credit card. No wakoje Walmart credit card. No waje Capital One credit card. No waje we no akobisa say car we grammar qualify. No akobisa. When you do that, it brings your credit score down. Too many inquiries. Too many inquiries is not going to help you. So be sure, say, I really need it. Hey, I need a new car. Why? Because now we have a baby and the baby is coming in and we need a bigger car. That is why I'm going. So it's really needed. So if I am going to ask now, they give my credit to see to make that inquiry. Yeah, it's really needed. It's important. So then I need to, get it. So we need to be mindful on, not just, throwing yourself out there and getting stuff. That would not, really help you. It's not advisable to do that. Today is not, as I said, it's not really going to be that long, but I think that it's detailed. Although I didn't go in detail, but I think with what I provide, it's very meaningful, and I hope I bring value to you today. As I always say, if you see this coming, then things is about to end. 2 favorite quotes. We can take loans for school, but we cannot take loans for retirement. So make retirement savings a priority while saving for others. This is from me. As I said, you could steal it. It's really, really important. Very, very important. My second favorite quote: if you wait until the wind and the weather are just right, you will never sow anything and harvest anything. Ecclesiastes 11:4. I like the Good News Bible because it's kind of a plain English, and I really, really relate to that. If you wait until the wind and the weather are just right, you will never sow anything and harvest anything. So we need to start something today. We need to start saving for our kids' education. We need to start saving for our house that we're preparing for. We need to start saving for the wedding that is coming up. We need to start saving for our retirement. It's very, very important. It's very, very important. You cannot wait until then. You're very close, 60, 65 years. Now that you're thinking about saving for retirement, it would not be good time. Maybe you can do something. You cannot wait for your kid to be 15 years. I got 2 years, Manako College. I feel now, and not 3 years, Manako College. I feel now, when you're bra, will save, or now, save. You may do something, but may not be accurate. I wish we win the lottery, one day at that time. Then you can pay off. But other than that, our advice is, if you wait until the wind and the weather are just right, you will never sow anything and harvest anything. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here with me. Questions?
Okay. Thank you so very much, Evans. After you begin, come on to be able to me. sharing no na etiefo yama mokwan that's be brave Evans masuani yama be brave bi wo ha na me no em say minim bi a wo say time na you good ya na my 30 minutes the time in dey good pa say wa end na ha say ye na me taking notes me nka say me be lines na tum nti wo apese obusa question bi ya na ebre aso wo kan ni mu hode no scenarios na wo create ni na no ya wo kan say wo kan pension na pension no wo kan de me tua me company so di bi ka ho na wo kan say me try has a individual IRA. Are you saying say we obi a wo ya adwuma now your pension will adwuma mu nko a enye enough ana because you kept repeating individual IRA nti boa me kakra chechirimu kakra which means say adwuma mu pension nko a enye enough na say me san pay another IRA bi na medical me retirement ya.
Thank you so much, Pastor. All right, so the scenario that I may make it say then back then there were a lot of companies no more pension defined benefit. No, you're not contributing anything in it because you worked with the company and they gave you that pension. And then yes, also was social security and so on. Was a CA so. So nipa na the pension. That's what in the social security. Oh yes, obviously so much savings, personal savings. What I says that was then. But now you and I no. Fewer companies are giving the defined benefit, which is the pension. So, if you now you're very fortunate, Pastor. Now you more conference giving you pension. That is great. And now obesan so obesan you social security so I don't know, you be averaging maybe 1,500 or pension so more 1,000. Now that time I be return say I will spend it 7,000, but I be return I reduce it I be spend it 5,000. Meaning say my 1,000 free me social security and my sign 1,500 every social security amount 1,500 and my pension so I'm 1,000. My 2,005 there. And the meaning say the same heading because save be at the bed and you best so and sana matimi meet obligations. And a nipa be brain so crying any pension ni be because as I said, fewer companies now my pension. Majority of us here on this line don't have pension. And then it will boil down to your social security, which is the 1,500. Meanwhile, my obligations here 5,000 and now 4,000. Then I need to save more for myself. Where do you save that? And not in your channel last week, and they say you could diversify your portfolio to make sure that you meet up with that, goal. Send you better in the future, no. And got through baby now with me, and yeah, she can be a best supplementing, and that's a best subsidize it, whatever you want to do. So that was the explanation behind the pension and the social security and the personal savings. No? I hope that I'm able to answer your question very well. Thanks that you muted, Pastor.
Okay. You know, Pastor, me, see, I see any say. So, what when you hear to about Kuma and wow, San number some committee, I see if I understand also actually say, say, give me a pension be, no mere marching mawa. Send your walk and I saw one so we would be a big camp. That you know. When you may be not just what save more.
Especially now. Impo crying pension ibin. But impo send your can when you may my pensioner still even then they still do personal savings.
Yes. what can send be now? No man can say a tear for or question amount so. Ne busa we are bus amount saswa no me jam di na mo busa bi. Na mo ma yinti dem twetwe no me de yam question na ma yina. What can send be now many agye ho pa Evans. Me ba krom ha foforo as osofo. En na me di obi call or semi man ride and call hospital. And any pan what translate for be pain. There's some careful in most taking. And you all con on the editing command walk can't say or no we need health insurance. And now how do you survive? No, so pastor. Tell me almost the bill about what tracking. Hospital they are in credit. Say I'm not many catch them. Hospital they are what tracking now. One back one few more. Now say but say Christopher yes sir. Pastor na wo miss ka wo nya ya asem ketua nti na ke se me kra me ka se bia me ka se Kristo ni wo yare ye no wo ka o ma hwe na se auto bill me twi no so pastor na me ti obo state ni din me de sa na ye o sa no me nkrofo ka kire me nti hospital bill pa de mfan ka da gina so ni insurance and suru ko ye hwe wo no me ba twene enko ba bia be na wa ka kire ye se sa bill na nkrofo obi tu fo sa twene enye no kora da ebetimi akwa ha odachi afei o peka ato obekwa ba ye ma akohia se wo hia bosia bi o pefie ato na wo ra free se wo to hospital bill bi ato twene awo ka se enye wo hwe iti manage sa asam na waka no ne ho pa enye no nko a wo hu se wo san kan se bi se through departmental store credits. Okay, ya obaduru no bi gina kwana no o se na interest free for 2 years. O ka kire yen say sa credit card me don't even look at them. Yes I know ka kire. Don't even look at them.
You give a brave muscle if you don't need it.
So what you give a brave muscle na che say na wo yo ne say e be kwa akọ ye na wo ya na kire magini nya ne say credit ratio. And then a credit ratio no ayo. I'm saying no contributed to your credit worthy, yes sir.
Yes, your credit ratio no. And no na ye share behind the scenes say make auto dying way. And I say make auto car way. So ye share me debt income ratio. Now and I may can say yes mostly the based on ratio 2 na me you know your housing ratio plus your other debt all over your gross pay. This a car and as a dan those are the stuff I hear and they say as my credit sa a dan man in program obetime atua
okay
I want to know those numbers no it's very important say you say idea make kwakoji on say me nyina na me can be we your credit score say na be ya you be boost your credit score no me can me free ho say instead say me kwakoji on ya ko check me credit ni ya say me qualified here. If I can do this simple math no me who say my you know too high it was 60. Trust me, I am. What we just did here, no. If you do that and you go to your bank, they will tell you, say you don't qualify. If it's way high above the numbers, now they may say now. You go and what I'm saying here, no, they will still deny you. Until then, why do I have to go now? Amoako checking my credit score now, and of course I at my credit score. So now, yes, I deny me, sir. You see, so that was the reason behind. Say, oh, okay. I think that these are simple stuff behind the scene, but I just want to bring it here. Sunny, we will all be, it's not the hard math, but it's just a simple math to be a bit me up, boy, and me, that, kind of ratios, and me, savings ratio, and also saying, so, oh, okay, would I meet my goals? Oh, me per se. That means $2,000. If I do this, would I meet that goal? That is why I also made that. Who say, oh, okay, if I save 18%, I will get $2,000 in maybe. That will also help you. And also maybe that saving ratio calculations. Scenarios and so can.
You didn't come the power and say, If I say I did back tree move for pa, Tina may bo up me yosa.
Mhm.
Yamu can say, and son, I'm a fat message. I mean, me call bank. I call Pebosian, and I may call credit agency beyond mortgage company. I call Pebosian. And some me Timmy say, Menya be an amina.
Sir,
The same. And then
sir,
you now the woman no say, woman no be the corner and Tiana na maintain fee. Na me aming your madi. Na kwa me pass why and say, Bosome, the housing cost, 1,005. Yes, sir.
Mhm.
And watching me the car who will be me to other. And also see 1,840. Okay. It is the area on say, me koto, me kogina car dealership for her. Bra what you want to know about computer or say, or me didn't come on. No, I can't. Right away, no pool me credits. A car me did any. Yes, sir. No, I
Sir,
say, okay. Ufi out Timono. Sir, I don't know how I will be some my character or form. No, so Ufi out,
sir,
I say, okay, it's 2005. And now the car was CS, or the car Macy's, and now the car was Lord and Taylor. So, it's in 1840. The can't be a no bomb. A car would you know. See, there was 70,000. I would get a Fibiano could chemwa. Okay.
sir.
Divided by 70,000 now. Ratio here 20 something percent. Okay. And now 57%. Into Sikana ya de Mawa. Sadia way chess a wouldn't mean tria. Into Sabos and Yamfam.
A bad thing, yeah. They all hide too much. A bad, you know, and go how,
If it's
it's a change.
good. If it's all how, no, my son got credit. Now, Santiaba for my son effective.
Sir, pepe.
That's a part. Daniel, my who's one so. Was our question intended?
My question is really important so much about credit card and social security card, you know. It's the same ben at home because okay, credit card and social security card. Me sure that NTS here because for example, me to me second now was savings. Maybe even with social security card. But you bet my chair as your kakra. So that make me who the question I know.
Daniel, that's a part.
That's
The Evans at Chirasi. Who's a woman, ya Juma home? The name of the Hokra, Yantia, papa. Evans, boy, Kakra.
all right, Daniel, my friend. What I'm trying to say, Wahana ASA, so called pensioner, your amount, maybe a friend, social security, so we Juma time be a. I could see your wall. I was supposed to, get all the numbers right. But I know, sir, at least I think 10 years or something like that. I am sorry, I'm not giving accurate, but you must set time be a amount of social security. So Udru baby and son to qualify for that. The social security near amount and no one America say your average be a your annual income is 70,000 now. You stand a chance maybe getting maybe 1,500 if you've done that straight the time now more person we get to qualify now. Maybe you'll be averaging maybe 1,500 or 1,800 a month, so retire. That is your social security. And our credit card, and then so I'm a kind of say, one kasa, wako say, hey, me pesa me J card way, credit card way, be a Macy's credit card because me tell the girl Macy's pa, inti Macy's for mama more credit card. Send ye be ya me use, na se me use, and I'm a tria. Eddie atum. And also a credit card and social security now. And your card, but it's rather something that you will get in the future when you retire. I don't know, sir, if I'm able to differentiate, what the social security and also the credit card and is to you properly. Did you get the understanding?
I still just explain a little bit more because sometimes, for example, credit cards, a lot of the youth you don't use it. some of our people use it and some of them don't use it. And the social security too, I think the government just gave it to us. That's why, and you just put it on savings.
Okay.
So I don't know about a credit card rather. Do you need to use it all the time? That's my question. So
And your mammy yadi. A pound program here or channel of friend or channel program about friend. I'm a tomb was in social security no and your credit card. Senia Evans Chirichi. We are Jumabiana. A bino a 2 sika kakra near the akoto. So, utu sika kakra. And you the tutu ho says can the tutu ho mouse say. Said dachi ujaya jumaya. So, now say my retirement. A bino was sika bia. Your teachers to honubi. Why invest here? I be send the amount back. And no near friend of social security. So, a bank share why you. And a credit card near Bosia. So, Oko bank, was a bank bill ho, and our credit agents bills in a Pebosia was okay. Amount 5,000. 5,000 no, away a bank. The Quan Befas way you say the card way amount. I just ATM card. So, you bet me a discount 5,000 and Kakraka crana bet me the boom. Now, Posiano, do the beer and I would try interest. Into Nimi no yard crop. To make me a trombosi actually to ye pa. The question be Eba.
Pastor, thank you. Yes, answer my question.
That's good. Evans, what can what's it pay a quantity of fast one build it credit a credit score no business say pay your bills on time. Okay. Semedeka. But who said nipa be yosa? Was it be Bosome no so mentimi antua mortgage no. Nti ma fra mortgage company say we dey mam break akra. Mam break akra na mam nkosi be say 18th. Number say me tua on the 30th. So there be our grace period of 2 weeks. It depending on the company. Okay. Maybe on 15 no cross abro so was ma fra won. The question is so fra won mo does it change the scenario? And as I say, it can go against you. If you say, I get suban habit. That's almost every other month. And my friend almost a way, me so into woman Mame. How does that affect your credit score?
It actually depends on the terms on the loan. Now, either it's your and I say a card now or not. It depends on the terms. And if it's it give you that liberty to get that grace period, and I say get to a certain point without it coming on the record, say a late payment, then you true. But if that is not the situation, NASA it's always reporting late payment. It's two things. It's either it's going to increase your rate or potentially, then it will be reported to, collection agencies. It's either it's going to increase your rate, which is actually not good. Or the 6% in Bukrani, the Kenya saying, yes, 12%. It means that most cases do not help at all. That is how I will answer that. It depends on the terms that it will be on the loan, and I say that I will and I say we'll pay. No.
That's Mabel, cause of
me pacho miss me question no na ne baako na we ya no sisi no na the other one na ye say me fa ne say me wo credit card anti credit card na store credit card na makota ade bi $1,000 na me se metia $1,000 ni nyina me next payment no na time na so say we say me kotia in fact say I have to make a payment on 14th. But 14th ni drew for some reason me recrave me who say and ne cry 14th. And na ebi 2 days been my kai say yee. I was thinking me coach ya me kayo na me koy. And na me coach ya kanini ne free ho. It me affect me credit because of some I'm making no on time no. And
Yes, it may affect you, especially send your medical can say bit me a resi rate and all those say what you are free honor. You still kind of made a late payment into an Amoako record, so set late payment into that late payment would go against it regardless and yes, the answer no yes, yes, it can also affect you. And into maybe you probably set automatic payment. If not, and so they are at least say 20th. Sometimes I review on the okay the nipa ubia rate me fee at the end. Yes, the answer yes, it can affect you.
As long as not just 2 days per crown, a bit me affect you credit.
A bit me affect you.
Yeah. Openity. I'm saying all can social security no. How many months, a years na say utria na fade why you qualify. Now was always well that.
Yeah, and not na make
me also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so as I said, Obia ultimi adwuma at least 10 years.
10 years.
10 years there, am I qualified? And it depended by being so why Biana Obi I disabled. Or you disabled, no, so no, or you adwuma saying, and son or you disabled. On your age, and how many years, at least 1.5 years or 2 years, depending on your age, and a qualify for social security. No? So 10 years, dear, that is the minimum. I also will be to me here, and son what to me qualify for social security. No.
Okay. Does it mean some 10 years I make us my room inside?
Well, we bet me akasa, but sika ubenya at the end of the year no so no ebe count unse na even say can say average amount me 1400 1500 around that amount no. But we bet me 500 a month depending on said your juma na we any o contribution akomu nti say ehun hia say akohode no wo ho eno nti na da bia no mo dwen say e say so person retire e say wo twen do that retirement age na timi amount leverage amount more nti you will contribute to account to yes 10 years in the yes is fine, it's 10 years minimum, but say me a year adwuma me nyina retire me nyina contribute to 10 years now adwuma wo now would be 40,000 50,000 80,000 I mean adwuma 24,000 22,000 even though you're the same years and you contribute to at the same time you retire, you get more than me.
Okay. Yo, Penny and that's Evans, me will a question be a chat is what say the disability payment is it different from actual social security retirement payment?
Yes, disability payment is to qualify for disability in terms of Medicaid. Medicaid pays about 40% of your disability. Inti enono disability payment. Now we be a friend total disability in terms of when it comes to Bama, say and to qualify for that, it's really, really, really hard to qualify for that. I think so 5 people apply, so approximately like 1 or 2 people will be qualified, to get it, because there are some stipulations and other stuff, you have to meet before you qualify for, that kind of, benefit. And this social security and so yeah, and also separate is any opinion can I thank you sir or confirm more 10 years no that's what I thought so 10 years and also yeah dear so would room fee so you're not disabled crampo you will be getting that. I know say be opinion kakra and so back home so that's really acceptable.
Yeah. Okay. Elder, yeah, sorry back home. Oh, busa I want to cancer.
Yeah, I am say no events okay no. Now disability no sometimes no most people nipa me brain no edwin say by chances that you become disabled na yeah the amount but and one more ahwe hu say yem fan say so you 20 years and or yeah adwuma na we contribute to 3 out of the 10 years na chances in say obetimi reaching retirement age and the federal government pay disability benefit through 2 programs. Social Security Disability Insurance Program and I was Supplemental Security SSI program. Into depending on the age, and how many years you contribute to, or bet me I qualify for one of these. And I said they will start you with one of these.
Okay. Yeah. I'm saying now me be ever me the question I'm say question and not the be aka ho say yam fa na say me fa me madwuma mu nyam fa ho say e wo yesofo na bi a nyame mpangu bibi kosi na wontimi anya adwuma no na adwuma bebre mu kra anya sofo nko a ye na say bi a first place no be short term disability and our family leave of absence no what was mean to me adwuma into my short term disability up to 90 days okay at least me adwuma after 90 days and so when me resume full time then you are encouraged to NASA one as said then you apply for a long term disability. The young fan says Abra number D 55. Okay. And now at the chronic C and I say no the agreement any insurance agreement yama me long term disability okay inti me no now they are not sa companies ni and say we are normal social security or matie free no ma RFL say kwaji social security na any portion of it the omo who say social security 1,004 na say be anka long term disability ni e ban say 2006 I no want 1,004 na free so okay normal 1,002 and then ma wo anyway inti question the background ban say me Jesus can adwuma mu disability no na me could drew me right retirement age then what how do you know if you say
yeah
retirement age dia sa adwuma mu disability na me no would I continue to receive it and answer now it will kick into full retirement na sika ben na me besides social security na me
okay before Evans ever cancel before because I'm here adwuma mu de disability na the type of insurance be adwuma no provide here and I will contribute to it and answer will qualify into will qualify so wujia but so do retirement age na and no your adwuma mu disability until retirement age na fair social security no ebe calculate ebe hwe the adwuma wo ye any the extent of your disability no and sana abia they determine say abia wuntimi nya adwuma biom wo age nso ni what do retirement age nti adwuma wo ye ni say na we qualify say na the amount I think he said this is a whole lesson a whole complete lesson abia say you're taking it from there but that's how abia me huno Evans me name say what do you reckon ho
it's very accurate and Senia Pastor Udi kan and you said it perfectly right. Every disability insurance, long-term care disability insurance, bia ubenya bia eda wajuma mo se personal disability bia no it has to coordinate with the Social Security. One. And they need to deduct, that coordination it has to. A must. It's not something that you have to do away with it. Insurance companies, they know. Say what I say now. The moment agreement and I say portfolio and I say whatever they're giving you, it will be stipulated, and you literally know exactly what is going to happen. Indeed, if it becomes say Social Security needs to give you something, it would be deducted from what you get. I like how you actually put it into then the sign as I say, the coordination needs to be there before and anything else. Before and I'll be long-term care disability. And I will be saying, does it 55 and I say, if I get to my retirement, do I still continue to get my disability? And I say, me and opening a year amount. They will calculate and say, oh, okay, well, he's even disabled. We need to pay this. Or we're doing a retirement. Say impose a won't do retirement. Na say we are young. Na say what do BBA? Assessor will qualify for disability. You can get disability till the end of maybe your life. And you can get that, but it's all coordinated. How much you were supposed to get at your retirement and your disability now when will be coordinated to come out with the amount as I say amount at that particular time. And that's a once or personal one I say it's coordinate with the government planner and also more and also you will see that deduction from your personal one. That one shouldn't also be surprised if you see something like that.
Okay. For nam say besa about so say me who say questions ni bi eba me who say akosoa aka and family woman on saso bi so yi waka wasem na dem so don start to ho enti say bi a yi ano dia ene Evans me pesa me gina enrich your family program yi so na me do wase 2 presentations awaye no abeka foundation bia na enuanom opani oti Joe the last week host you no omunyina ye na odi bia befo aso ejidi say yedi sikasem ho nkomo akwani mu pa until next week sakra mu kakra next week no I want to watch your appetite ye beka childhood trauma no say obi akoda na odi dem a edem no nyese ka na agbo no ana se bia edan bi na abu agu no so na emotional trauma na ye ka ho asem obi ekwan ate no ya janka ye dwodwo no ye fa na nya hwe ohun ye hwe nso agu no so ohun ye de ababo ne tirim ye didi na tem ne atoto no din baifo wo kire de obeware wo saa ne ma no saa koda de nyina ensusu aso ben na enya wo no so obi wo ha abon se ye na ti aso dem a ese we de na sem basa ebi a na wadi dem efri ni mofra pem or mental health problem na trauma bi a wonya ye either said trauma ni bi ebitimi ye se membe se manom ho kwan ebi a osua na papa ka ball no wuye osua no bi ball ne maame tuo anasa akonfo ba o mo fie ne yem hye no saa ne mani nyina adwojo atiatia ahunahuna bi a ekọ so wona setena mu a edini dem next week ye will guest bi obe present amai na me adma mehwe anim rade nhyira ye na onka ye ho nti ye de kwa wie na mebọ mpa ye bio Yehua edwase se nenso unam Evans Amoako eso wakyerɛkyerɛ nneɛma bebree ama ye wa entiase a titu sikasɛmu bɛboa abusua nyinaa na mbɔmpa yɛ sɛ Yehua bɛka yɛ ho na wɔnom a saa nsɛm yi duro asom no bɛboa wɔne wɔnam fofoɔ ne obusua saa yɛn agyenkwa ɛwɔ Yesu din mu yɛsɛ wɔ amen nti
Pastor, you're muted.
Yeah, hane de ba besie. Na me adman next week. Ebe san atoa so ebe hemu nyina anim. Nti ne ye kro no.